Good morning. It's 11:30, so it's time for our little weather discussion that we do every morning between 11:30 and 11:45. We do actually do a weather discussion twice a day. One at 11:30, 11:45, and the other one is usually in the evenings around 6:30 to 6:45, and Patrick will do those. So, and if Patrick's not here or if I'm not here, then Carrie Cooper will do these 15-minute discussions. Give you a good look at the weather, let you know what's going to be going on over the next 7 days or so. We'll take a look at the tropics out there. It looks pretty quiet, so good news, especially since we're in late August. Typically this time of year, tropics are getting pretty active. Not to say that it still doesn't have a chance. I mean, the peak of hurricane season goes on until end of November, and the peak is usually around the 10th or 11th, but the actual season itself goes on until November. But the peak over the next 2 or 3 weeks, that's when we typically see the most activity out into the Gulf, the Caribbean, or into the Atlantic. And so far, pretty quiet out there. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the forecast. If you just want to catch up on what you can expect the rest of the afternoon, just plenty of sunshine. Might be a few high clouds here and there, but we're going to climb to the middle 90s. Heat index is going to be over 100. So if you're going to be outside this afternoon working or playing for a few hours or so, make sure you're staying hydrated and taking those breaks. Still at 6 o'clock, maybe out walking the dog after work, it's still going to be hot. We're going to look at lower 90s then, so maybe carry a bottle of water with you if you're out with the dog. Give them a little drink as well. And then by 10 o'clock, we'll see temperatures falling back down into the lower 80s, so getting a little bit cooler. And expecting lows tonight in the 70s. This morning, gosh, it was nice. We had a mix of some upper 60s and lower 70s. Not bad at all for a morning in August. Usually we could definitely see temperatures around 80 in the morning, and we were looking at some lower 70s and upper 60s this morning, so not bad. Allergy report up a little bit. Tree, of course, is 0. It's not the time of year for any tree, so it's always 0. Grass is up a little at 2. Weed went from low to medium at 14, and then mold is on medium as well, over 12,000. So up a little bit on the allergy report, but I've seen it a lot worse than this, that's for sure. All right, let's take a look outside, and plenty of sunshine across all of southeast Texas. Look at those blue skies over Beaumont as we look from our Packer LaPrey camera, looking down towards the skyline of Beaumont for this morning. Our Roofing 911 Live Skycam network currently showing temperatures in the upper 80s at Packer LaPrey downtown. Humidity not bad, 55%. We've seen a lot of days in the summertime where it's up in the 60s and 70s, so 55%. Not great, but it's not bad. Winds out of the northeast right now at about 5 to 7 miles per hour, and that's why our humidity level is just a little bit less. And it says 1/100th of rain in the rain bucket, but I think that's misread there. I think it should be just 0. All right, let's take a look from our 12 News studio. And once again, we have clear skies out there. This camera brought to you by Mid-County Plumbing, part of the Roofing 911 Live Skycam network. And not seeing too much going on. Like I said, very quiet. You can see downtown Beaumont there to the center left of your screen. The buildings in downtown. And then just up ahead there, you can see 11th Street here in Beaumont. Our camera's facing east, of course, towards downtown on this camera, which is on our tower right on top of the station. So not looking bad there. We'll take look at a couple more cameras before we go ahead and then move on and look at some temperatures. But here's over towards Lake Charles, same deal there. Like I said, high pressures overhead, so we're seeing plenty of sunshine, lower humidities. Look at the port of Lake Charles over there in southwest Louisiana as things are going on pretty quietly out there. It's a little bit better than what we've been seeing this summer with the showers and thunderstorms. Today, nothing as far as any rain. I don't have any clouds. We've got to have clouds before we get some rain, and we don't see any clouds, so we're looking pretty good there. Let's go to one more camera if we can before we move on, look at some temperatures out there, and then we'll get into more of what we can expect as we head towards the weekend. And also we'll take a look at the tropics in just a second. And we'll take you up to Jasper as we look at the Jasper County Courthouse. This camera brought to you by Provalis. And you can see there are a few high clouds coming in from the north towards the Jasper area, but these are just high, thin clouds. So we're not going to be seeing anything as far as any rain there. As we look at temperatures, not quite to 90, but we're very, very close. You can see 88, 89 basically across the area. Woodville, Kirbyville, Silsbee, Beaumont, and Port Arthur all at 89. Just getting ready to reach that 90-degree mark, and then Orange and Jasper at 88 officially. Lake Charles at 88, and then we've already seen some 90s out to our west. Huntsville's at 90, Houston's at 92, and Conroe's at about 88. So yeah, we're going to be topping out in the middle 90s for later on this afternoon. We have a front to our north and off towards our east, and it's been the focus for some showers and thunderstorms up towards the Midwest for this morning. Oklahoma has been getting a lot of rain. In particular, Oklahoma City's been getting some pretty heavy rain for this morning, and some of that now starting to spread over into Arkansas. Looks like Fort Smith getting some of that rain as well. Pretty heavy stuff. Across the state of Texas, not much going on. We have a couple of showers in the Panhandle, a few showers off the coast. It looks like Padre Island, Corpus Christi down there. Besides that, not a whole lot. Maybe a couple of showers flared up just off Galveston for this morning, but pretty quiet. Now this front's going to be working its way southward towards us as we head towards later on this week, and that will be the focus for us to get some showers and thunderstorms. So we'll put that in the forecast as we head towards Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Until then, we'll just put in a low rain coverage towards Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, maybe 20%. But with this front coming in, looks like your weekend could get a little wet at times with showers and thunderstorms as disturbances kind of right along the front. So we'll be waiting for that. All right, let's look around the rest of the country, and there's that showers and thunderstorms through the Midwest, Kansas, down into Oklahoma, Arkansas, not quite into Missouri as of yet, but they're dealing with cloud cover and scattered showers and thunderstorms. That's probably the most active weather across the U.S. for this morning. Look at the East Coast, fairly quiet. There are a couple of showers over towards, say, New England, maybe towards New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, getting a little bit of shower, but pretty quiet there. Florida's getting some scattered showers out there for this morning. Those will last through the afternoon with a front. That front's kind of snaking down towards the coast, and they're seeing some showers and thunderstorms south of that. Usually when we show this map, the Intermountain West is pretty quiet, but there is some little bit of rain coming into Denver for this morning, and you can see some of that moisture coming in into parts of the desert Southwest. Southern California out towards Death Valley, looks like Yuma, western sections of Arizona getting some rain for this morning. I probably enjoy seeing that from the heat and the dry weather they've been having. Even some scattered showers up through Oregon, southern parts of Idaho getting some rain. So some moisture out in the western states and keeping things a little wet in certain spots. Not a lot of rain out there, but there is a little bit of rain, so good news for them. They always enjoy rain here in the summertime to help fight some of those fires and just to give them a little bit of a change. I lived in Northern California one summer. We'll tell you a little story. One summer, and a little town called Chico, which is north of Sacramento. I lived there for a couple of years doing the weather, and one summer it rained, I think it was June 4th, and then we didn't get any rain until like September 7th. So we went through all of June, July, August without a raindrop, and then finally come September we got a little bit of rain, but it was a while. I remember every day was just blue skies, blue skies, blue skies. So like I said, they're happy to get a little bit of rain out towards the west. All right, let's look at our futurecast. Futurecast takes us up into the middle 90s for this afternoon. I think a little bit hotter than we're showing here. We're expecting about 94 to about 96 through the afternoon with mostly sunny skies. Heading into this evening, we'll still see temperatures around 90 at 7 o'clock, and then we drop from there. And once the sun goes down, we'll see those numbers falling back into the lower 80s by 10 o'clock. Overnight, we're expecting mostly clear skies. And we're looking at lower 70s for tomorrow morning, right at around 70 or so towards Burkeville, say Kirbyville, Woodville, 71, 72, and then maybe 73, 74 here around the Triangle, so a little bit warmer. I don't think we're going to see as many 60s as we did this morning across the area, but we'll definitely be back into the lower 70s, so that won't feel too bad. And then tomorrow, we'll put in a 20% chance of a couple of showers. We'll see temperatures once again climb up into the middle 90s, and can't rule out something isolated. Matter of fact, I think this might even be overdone from what we're expecting tomorrow with just a handful of showers at that across the entire area. So we're not expecting much on Tuesday. Same deal for Wednesday, and we go into Thursday as well. All right, out in the tropics, this is tropical storm. Oh my gosh, I can't remember what the name of it is. Fernan, and it's moving out. It never actually even got close to anything. It came through the Atlantic, and then that made that curve. So it's been a fish storm the whole time, and right now it continues to move off towards the east, and no threat to anything, but like I said, some fishes out there. We've been watching this little area of disturbed weather out into the eastern parts of the Caribbean. Hurricane Center's been watching it. You got a little X here where kind of the center part of the disturbance is. And at one point they had a 50-60% chance of some development here. This morning they dropped that down to a 10% chance of development over the next 7 days, and now they've even dropped that. So they're just showing that there is a little bit of a weak disturbance there, but they don't expect much in the way of any development. The winds down here are just not conducive to any type of development, with lots of wind shear. So this thing looks like it's just going to kind of drift westward, and hopefully we won't see any development over the next 7 to 10 days. Matter of fact, look, the Gulf looks quiet over the next 7 to 10 days. So that takes us into early September without any worry as far as any tropical formation in the Gulf, which is great news. Typically, like I said, this time of year, we're pretty active out here. I've seen seasons where we've got 3 or 4 different things going on at once, especially this time of year, late August, early September. So right now we just have one little tropical storm, and that's about it. Let's hope we can keep it quiet as we go through the rest of the season, or at least through September and October. We'll keep it very quiet out there, but we'll continue to watch and we'll let you know if anything's popping up. But right now, not too bad out there into the tropics. Just a couple little things they're watching, and nothing looks like it's going to be threatening the Gulf anytime soon. All right, our coastal marine forecast for today: a little bit of a northeast to southeasterly winds of 5 to 10 knots, seas about a foot. Next high tides at 5:18 for this evening, and we'll look at our sunset tonight's at about 7:46. Right now across Texas Point, a little bit of the east wind at 7 to 8 with water temperatures in the upper 80s. Light chop on the inland lakes and bays today with plenty of sunshine. If you get out in the boat, not a bad day for that. Just make sure you have plenty of water on hand. Keep yourself hydrated out there in the heat. Our forecast for today: mostly sunny. No rain expected, just an east wind at about 3 to 8 miles per hour. We're looking at numbers anywhere between 94 to 96 for this afternoon. So like I said, it will be hot with the heat index a little bit over 100. And then for tonight, mostly clear skies, no rain expected, light and variable winds, and we're looking at temperatures anywhere from the lower 70s, 70 to 71 up towards the lakes. I don't know if we'll see too many 60s. If we do, it might be southern end of Rayburn or Toledo Bay when you might catch a 68 or 69, but I think most part will be there into the lower 70s, which is still pretty good. All right, here's those low rain chances I was talking about. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we'll just go 20% as far as our rain coverages. A couple isolated showers or thunderstorms typically come late in the afternoon or early evening, and you notice temperatures slowly coming down a little bit. We're talking about 93 to 94, so just a couple of degrees off our 95 for today. And then as we head towards your holiday weekend, of course Labor Day's on Monday, but the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will bring our rain chances up to about 40 to 50%. Also, first week of Friday night football, we're hoping that these showers and thunderstorms don't mess with that, but there is a chance of that as we head towards Friday night. So something we're going to be watching out for. We'll continue to update this forecast. If we see stuff on Friday, typically would be at late afternoon, early evening. So like I said, we'll update it as we get a little bit closer. And then Saturday and Sunday, your weekend, there will be some rain around, but it's not going to be an all-day deal. And I'm thinking you can be able to get some outdoor plans in. You're just going to have to kind of keep an eye on the radar. If you have our 12 News Now app, definitely catch the radar there and kind of check it from time to time and see if there's anything developing, so you know when to get out, when you don't get out, especially when you have some thunderstorms and lightning and things like that. So weekend, like I said, not a washout, but not perfect either for the Labor Day weekend, where we typically like to see plenty of sunshine out there and enjoy some nice weather. Speaking of sunshine, here we go. Port Arthur, this is our market basket camera, and looking good down there in Port Arthur, but looking really nice. By the way, if you need to, if you have a question about anything, you can always text us at our weather phone, and it's at 749-9302. Can't call